This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, it's Webbin' time as we review Madam Web. Plus, Marvel finally announces the cast of the Fantastic Four, trailer reactions for Godzilla x Kong, X-Men 97, and Invincible Season 2, Part 2. Dune 2 first reactions are out, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, February 19th, 2024.
Hey, this is for the Jock and Nerd podcast. This is Simon Rex, a.k.a. Dirt Nasty, baby. You know, I like to listen to the Jock and Nerd podcast when I'm driving to work. Wait a minute, I don't have a job. So I like to listen to it when I'm driving to your mama's house. Ha ha. You tired of boring podcast shows? These guys at Jock and the Nerd are the funniest, most entertaining nerds on earth. So check it out, baby dick.
Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah.
Hello, what's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
And joining us, he's back from his trip from the Amazon where he was researching spiders. And now, for some reason, when he talks, his lips don't match up. It's the weirdest thing. It's Rugzekiel.
Call me Efreakiel.
Efreakiel.
Yeah, Efreakiel.
Luckily, it's an audio podcast, so the whole off-sync lip thing is not going to be an issue.
Just pretend like you're watching something that's dubbed.
Yes. But if you saw him in real life, it would trip you up. Hate when that happens and spider bites you and your lips don't match up.
Look, if your lips are not going to match up, at least do some karate. That's all I'm saying.
Do some crazy. Anyways, woof, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Fellas, let's get into it.
The Jock and Nerd.
Is it bad that I laughed at my own joke?
Not at all. It's a cue to the listener that you should be laughing. It was funny.
It's not. Okay.
It's not at all. Okay. A lot of crazy things announced and revealed this week. Let's start with the big one. 4 years after Marvel announced at San Diego Comic-Con that they were going to do a Fantastic Four movie in the MCU, and after like 6 months legit of rumors, they finally have officially announced the cast of the Fantastic Four in the MCU with a lovely Valentine's Day post. It was on Valentine's Day, and a lovely 60s illustration. And I guess the biggest surprise is that if you were following the rumors, it wasn't a surprise. This is the cast we last talked about. Officially now, Pedro Pascal is playing Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the Thing, Ben Grimm. Holy shit. Geek boner.
You got your announcement.
I was dying for this. I was like, what's taking you so long? First of all, let's talk about it. What do you think of this cast and the way they announced it? I kind of love this fucking illustration. It is a gorgeous retro. So we don't get a live action picture. We get an illustration of the family. And there's a bunch of clues in here. We can break that down, but let's just start with the casting itself. Anthony.
Yes.
You like it? What do you think? It's a little older than we've seen in previous incarnations of this family. Yeah,
this is an old crew. I think Pedro's almost 50?
Yeah, he's in his late 40s, I think. Everybody else probably in there.
Ebon Moss-Bachrach's 46.
Yeah.
Kirby's, I think, in her late 30s. So, Pedro Pascal's 48, and then Quinn is the youngest. And he is, let's just see.
He's got to be in his 30s.
29, 30.
Oh, okay. So you got 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds.
He's the youngest.
Yeah.
So, this is a older crew. Not necessarily that different, though, from the comics. I think everyone plays a little older in the comics. Yeah, I like the announcement. I mean, we knew about this for a little bit now. Everyone kind of looks like the crew from Fantastic Four.
I mean, Pedro,
it's not too hard.
With the mustache. That was surprising, but that's okay. I could go with it. It's the 60s.
Yeah. It looks like a period piece, right? They're doing maybe the 60s stuff.
And that's, is it going to be partly starting the 60s entirely? I don't know, but definitely you got, in the illustration, you got Herbie, which is like that 60s robot. You got a picture of Ben Grimm as an astronaut in the background. So they are astronauts. You get a taste of these costumes, which are definitely throwback. Ruggs, I like this cast. What do you think of this cast? Look, I think it's smart of them. What do they got here? They got Last of Us, The Game of Thrones, Mission Impossible, Stranger Things, The Bear, hot actors from hot shows. I think it's a very smart cast right now.
Right. I don't mind this casting at all. I don't mind the mustache. I like Pedro Pascal. He's always good in everything.
He is. He's going to kill it.
The only problem is he's in everything.
Well, that's another amazing thing. He has taken over Game of Thrones, Star Wars. He was in DC movies. He has now joined the MCU. The guy's everywhere. Too thin?
Yeah.
Spread too thin?
I just think he's too many things, and it's like harder to I don't know. It's hard to give that person that one thing when there's so many other things. But I do like this cast. I wish it was younger. I think that it would play better if it was younger, but for some reason, Marvel always hiring people when they're 50.
Downey Jr., he was older. A lot of these guys were hired older.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Rudd, all in their 40s.
I think Pedro Pascal is so charismatic. He could be the face of the MCU. He could be the next Tony Stark, whatever, Captain America, to push everything forward. He's that good, that charismatic.
He's a good actor.
He's a great actor. They're all really good.
You did. The point you brought up was good, Imran, and that like all these people, all these actors and actresses are in stuff that's really hot right now.
Yes.
So but they're not like, I guess Pedro Pascal would be like most A-list.
Yeah, they're not A-list. They're up and coming rising stars.
Yeah, as old as they are. Yeah. But they're all like high B-list.
Yeah.
If not, or like Pedro's probably like A- list.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby's like known as a great actress, but not necessarily like A-list actress.
I would put Pedro A-list. He's been in a ton of movies.
He's
the lead in Last of Us.
We're watching
that's
him.
A major show.
He's getting there. We're watching him. If he hasn't gotten there, we're watching him get there. Absolutely. And these other people are working their way that way. Eben Moss-Backrack just won an Emmy for The Bear. It was hot. He was also in The Punisher. But I argue this is the only way you're going to get people in this day and age to care about the Fantastic Four. Like, how relevant is this? Here's the other crazy thing, right? This is why they have pushed the release date. It was going to come out May 5th, 2025. It is now coming out July 25th, 2025. Thunderbolts now opens in May, taking that spot. But July of 2025, we're going to have Superman, Fantastic Four, and I think the fucking Jurassic Park movie is also trying to open the same month. Now, who wins that battle? New Superman, James Gunn Superman, Fantastic Four. What's more relevant? What do people care about? I think this cast. I think people are going to see this movie now because of this cast, because they want to see Pedro and all these other people. What do you think?
Possibly.
Because how do you make this?
It depends on the tone.
Right.
And it depends on if it's it's going to be a comedy. What kind of comedy is it going to be?
I mean, it looks like it'll be family. There'll be like family stuff, right? The way they're.
Do you think it'll be a comedy?
This. I don't know about full on comedy, but like it should have humor in it.
Yeah, it should be humorous. I don't know I don't know all these. I don't know that they're all like the most.
But look at this illustration. It's a comedy illustration.
I mean, it's a cartoon.
It's like a family. It's like a family comedy.
It kind of looks like a family, like a sitcom.
Yeah,
I guess
a little bit.
Comedy,
yeah,
bit.
That magazine, the thing is reading that you kind of make out it's an actual Life magazine cover from 1963. So this is set in 1963. Maybe they were the first people to go on the moon or whatever in I don't know what reality.
You can easily write it as they were around in the 60s. They went to space. They went on an adventure and they went through a wormhole and then they came back.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I love it's called.
Or they went to the negative zone or something.
And time passed. Time acts weird everywhere. We know, and it could be the quantum realm.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
What if the Fantastic Four only exist on TV?
Oh, they're a TV show?
and then something happens where they're brought to actual reality.
You know, that's interesting you say that because you know who's directing this? Matt Shackman directed WandaVision. There you go. He's already...
And that would be the reason where the fuck they've been this whole time.
He's already played with
They're
that
in a period piece show, and now they've been brought to actual reality.
And I wonder, are we
Through
getting
some hijinks?
Will we get an origin, or they'll already be the Fantastic Four when it starts? The other thing we don't know is who Galactus is going to be played by. Rumor is still on Javier Bardem. And if you have a Galactus, you need a Silver Surfer. And the rumored for Doctor Doom, if he is still Cillian Murphy, Mads Mikkelsen. Which they both be great.
Again.
They're going to do Anya Taylor-Joy as Silver Surfer.
So, yeah, that was the one rumor. There's a female Silver Surfer. But that casting will probably come later. But, yeah, no, I like how they announced this. It's cute. It's fun.
It was kind of cute. Different.
Yeah. The logo, the retro logo is great. And I've always loved this kind of illustration, this aesthetic from 60s advertisements or whatever. Fully painted things. And Herbie, who's going to voice Herbie? It's a little robot. Costumes are great.
They should get Imran.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I forgot how Herbie talks.
It
Mr.
doesn't
Fantastic.
matter.
Take this. Shove it up your ass. Sue Storm. What?
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That's what Herbie would say. Don't cast me. I just failed the audition. Listener, let us know what you think. You can join this conversation. Join our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd.
Jock and Nerd.
You can geek it up in there. The spoiler threads for things, for movies. Lots of fun discussion. Closed exclusive group just for you. Okay, moving on. Anything else about Fantastic Four that I missed? No.
No.
It's good. It's good.
This was a
solid cast.
We'll talk about something else later, but it's been a good week or so since the Super Bowl of announcements for Marvel.
Yeah. That was just a good follow up from the Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, then that wasn't enough. We got a new trailer for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Oh my God, geek boner!
Man, it feels like it came out so long ago.
It does. It was.
It's like last Wednesday or Tuesday.
By the time you hear this, it's been out a week. But look, we record on a weekly schedule. That's what happens. That's what happens. This one, Anthony, take us through this one. We get a little bit more of the story. What do we see? What did you like?
Oh, what did we see? I mean, we see a lot. I don't know if I want to go through everything because they jam-packed this trailer with a lot more stuff from the movie and from different parts of the movie. But we basically are seeing that Kong is the protector of humans and Godzilla is the protector of nature,
titans and great apes,
and that they detect a threat underneath there that they got to deal with, and they gotta, even though they don't want to work together, they're gonna have to.
They don't have to like each other.
Yeah, they don't have to like each other, but they're gonna have to work together. As far as the trailer, I'm in.
Yeah.
I had a smile the entire time watching the trailer. Now, is this Godzilla -1? No,
it doesn't need to be. It's not what it's going for.
But is this going to be pretty stupid at times? Yeah,
absolutely.
Probably. But if we're going to go all the way and like go with big tag team up with Godzilla and Kong, this is about what I would expect.
Yeah.
This is, if not a little bit more ridiculous than what I would expect. So, yeah, I'm not going into this and sniffing my own farts, and I think I'll have a great time with this. I think it really just comes down to how much can they minimize the humans, so that we just aren't like. I think Godzilla versus Kong did a decent job of minimizing the humans, whereas Godzilla King of the Monsters was almost too human heavy, and it just made it like just let's fast forward, like. You want it to be where you're just not like, let's fast forward. You want it to be like somewhat entertaining when the humans are on screen. So that's really all there is. It's like, can they make the humans entertaining enough to get me to the next monster scene?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I was watching this and I'm like, This looks great. This looks like so much fun. It's gonna be horrible. It doesn't need to be Godzilla minus one. But I was like,
horrible in a good way,
in a fun way.
like absolute popcorn movie.
Yeah, just the shots, the action they're showing,
a tooth flying out of Scar's face, the size of a car.
The scale of everybody. Godzilla's blasting the pyramids. He's got a fucking power glove. Come on, there's a fucking skeleton whip, a bone whip. Rugs, what do you think? You in with this?
I got 3 words.
Yeah.
Let them fight. That's the secret to this. All right. So the problem with a lot of these legendary films is that they linger too long on the human stories, and then, which is fine because you got to build anticipation and stuff. But when it's time for them to fight, you got to do what Adam Wingard does best, and you got to make it a spectacle. Don't block it. Don't cut away. Don't show it in all its glory. Take us there. Take us through it. We're watching the wrestling match. We want to see fucking all the shit happen.
Let them cook.
We don't need to cut back to the humans during that part. So I think Wingard figured it out. He hasn't figured out how to do a good story or good characters, but he's figured out that part. And I think that part is enough to be worth the price of admission, right? Of course, -1 has kind of a little bit of everything. It's almost a perfect movie. This is going to be, you're there to see the spectacle. You're there to see the fight. You're there to see these characters that they're introducing, and if they're going to pose a challenge, if they're going to team up, how are they going to overcome this thing? We're all in. So, as ridiculous as this movie looks, I'm pretty pumped.
Oh, wow.
I do have.
Yeah, me too.
I do have a little bit of reservations about these characters, like Scar King and Shimo or whatever. I feel like that they're uninspired, and they could be I think Japanese designs are way cooler. The kaiju that from Toho is way cooler, and we'll see how this pans out. Maybe I'll be proven wrong because you never know. The Mutos grew on me over time, so you never know.
So Scar King is at some point he is a building size, just fucking mean orangutan, right? Is that what I'm seeing?
Well,
here?
he's some kind of weird looking thing, yeah.
And then they do tease another creature. This is that Shimu, right? Is that what it's called? Shimu?
Yeah.
Look at this
ice monster.
I took a screenshot in the beginning when the kid's having the flashes. And if you look in the notes, there's a wide shot and there seems to be 2 sets of fights happening. 4 characters paired off fighting. What does that look like? What is going on?
Right.
What is going on in this shot? There's four monsters.
Yeah, I see 4. Yeah.
So it's like,
did they make Godzilla pink because they wanted Shimu to be blue, and they were like, we can't have 2 blue.
this other one looks like he's white or blue. Yes. And it's like Scar King and Kong are fighting over here, and Godzilla is fighting this other thing over there.
You also got the tease where it looks like Scar King has Shimu in like a cave. He unleashes him. And then you just saw the eyes, and then the ice came out, and then Kong was blocking it with the axe.
Oh, right. That was that move.
Yeah.
So there was a tease that there's something
There's
else.
something else. Yeah. That's why they got to team up. But Scar King and even the shot of them running, it's a little more extended where they just come flying over the edge of the cliff. That's fucking dope. I was like, that's great. Look at them.
I'm super intrigued at how they're going to portray the communication.
Between Godzilla and Kong.
Well, first Scar King and Shimu.
Yeah.
What is their relationship, and how does he have him? Does Scar King have him as a pet? What is going on there? And then Kong and Godzilla teaming up.
Yeah. How do they?
How does that happen? Because I don't think they're going to go with the talking route, which they did in Godzilla vs. Gigan.
No, it's going to be looks, just like looks, and they'll understand.
But you
other.
did have in Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla kind of chuckling at him.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
yeah.
They had a little bit of communication in that last movie, and they had to team up against Mechagodzilla.
Well, I think that they're going to fight initially.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, some other motherfucker's going to show up, just like Mechagodzilla did last time, and they're going to be like, all right, I guess we have to team up. And then
they make this glove. They go to Egypt for some reason and fucking blow up all
It
the
looks like
pyramids.
the final fight might be in Rio. Am I reading that right?
Well, in Brazil.
yeah, I think Egypt is like where they team up.
Okay.
Mhm. And they sing to the heavens.
The final battle is in Rio.
That last shot where they're just both yelling to the sky.
That's
You're like,
great.
"Man,
And you see the Sphinx in the bottom, real in the background.
They should have been arm in arm as they did that.
It's so great. There's baby Kongs also, and so that's interesting.
Well, there's that shot of Baby Kong firing a rock.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Kong colored gorilla.
Yeah, it
but
looked
the
like
gorilla's
Kong.
like upside down.
Yeah. That's confusing.
What's going on?
That was
Well, I think that he's trying to get away from all those other dudes that are with Scar King.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla's got this blue fucking power up that looks fucking dope also. Yeah, no.
That was a cool shot when they're firing the missiles at him and he like radiation blasts them with his body.
Dude, I'm in. This is going to be a fucking blast. Like, this just looks like so much fun already.
Yeah, that's the read I have is like, I'm not coming into this, expecting -1, so it just looks fun. It looks fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There's, as we've discussed in our review, in our tournament, like there's all sorts of Godzilla movies.
That's
So,
the
like,
beauty of it.
This isn't out of left field.
Yeah, this is like Godzilla versus Megalon. This is they're gonna team up. They're gonna do a bro handshake. There's gonna be.
No, they
I'm
gotta
telling
do
you,
a bro
there's
handshake.
gonna be a fucking drop kick somewhere in this.
Oh my God.
There's gonna be all kinds. There's gonna be a ring of fire. Yeah, and they're gonna be in the middle, back to back. It's gonna be the whole thing. It's gonna happen.
And the effects look really good. Like, there's a lot of VFX, obviously, but it looks good. I don't know.
Is the pink and gray body still not doing it for you though, Ruggs?
Oh, I hate it, but still,
Yeah.
I do that shot of Blue Godzilla looking like he's lean.
That one
Like they restructured his anatomy a little bit, so he's a little bit more thin in the waist, and he just looks more badass. I think with a shot of his foot coming down,
Yeah, that looks great.
like his foot looks like
Yeah.
a Godzilla foot now. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like an elephant foot. So they did all those like little tweaks to try and like make him seem a little bit more battle ready. So I'm into it. It's like, as I said, there's a million kinds of Godzilla. There's kinds of Godzilla movies. I prefer ones that are a little bit more balanced, but hey, let's see what happens. I love Godzilla versus Megalon, and that's the most unbalanced movie that there is. So it's from my childhood. It makes me feel like I'm like a little kid,
Yeah. I had the same feeling watching this trailer. I went, this just makes me feel like a kid again.
That's great. That's what it
And
should do.
Doesn't always need to be the, we got the mind. We got it. Toho delivered, the company that created Godzilla delivered on something awesome. We don't need the American version to be that awesome.
You want to know what has to be done is that someone has to make the blueprint.
Mhm.
So we know how to repeat the recipe,
Oh, yeah.
right? You create the perfect thing and then you're like, okay, -1, that's it. They did this kind of Godzilla. You didn't go crazy like Shin Godzilla with little puny arms. And no, they figured out the origin. They figured out how to make him move, how to make him scary. Set it in a period piece,
Mhm.
make it about something. And they got the recipe for that. They know how to make one of those now. Wingard figured out how to make the spectacle Godzilla movie.
Mhm.
I feel like Doherty kind of was there, but he kept on, for some reason, obscuring things, putting things in like a haze where you couldn't see things. Gimme crystal clear, neon,
I love the
lit
colors.
up,
The colors are great in
designed
this.
shit where
Yeah.
it looks, where you can remember every single thing that happens. You can see it all.
A lot of daylight shit in this trailer, and I love the
Right.
color palette they're going with the purples and the blues and the glow and the neon. It's great.
It's gonna be fun. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it's gonna be fun. Look, if you're gonna make a bad movie, make it fun. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only way this movie really can fail is if it's like not really as action packed as they've put it in the trailer.
Right. Yeah.
It is.
None of this is in the movie. That would be
Not even that it's not in the movie, but they're just like long, drawn out scenes of boringness.
Yeah.
And like what we saw was basically all the action you would have in the movie.
You know, I feel like they've learned.
Similar to the movie we're going to review later, where it's just
Well,
like, oh, this is an
yes.
action
Yeah.
movie. And it's
Don't-
like, wait a minute, that's not an action
Don't
movie.
make it like that movie,
It's an
please.
inaction movie,
It's
yes.
an inactive movie. We'll find out March 29th when Godzilla X Kong hits the theaters. Back to the MCU. Before that, Marvel has announced, and they put out a trailer for the X-Men 97 cartoon. That's coming out March 20th on Disney Plus. And this trailer is pretty great, Ruggs. Let's start with you. What? There you go. You got the stinger. You're gonna have that music. It's the best fucking music.
Yeah.
What?
Did you watch that, Imran, when it was on?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I want to watch it again. I may watch certain episodes.
I might do the same.
I need to do rewatch. And there was also on the Spider-Man 90s show, that team showed up over there. There was a two-parter,
That's right.
which was great. Now, this trailer begins with seemingly Xavier being dead, right? But I saw a thing, watched the video about how the X-Men series ended. That's not what happened at the end of that series. Does anybody remember?
I watched the Screen Rant video.
Yes, what
recapping.
happened to Xavier in that last episode?
Doesn't he get sent to space?
Yes, he's dying. Magneto
With the,
shows
with
up
the
and
Shi'ar.
yes, he falls in love with that Shi'ar princess, like in the show.
I wouldn't have known if I didn't read.
I forgot that too,
video.
and she takes him out into space to try to save him, or she has
the
a cure.
Star Jammers or whatever?
Yeah, she has a cure.
The Shire, yeah.
The Shi'ar. She has a cure. She takes him. They go off into space. So then he's not dead. He's in space, but in here it seems like he's dead, and you get the reveal that in his will he's given everything to Magneto, so Magneto's in charge. But what'd you think of the trailer, Ruggs? The animation style. This one's going to be TV 14, which is a little bit more. They could do a little bit more edgier stuff.
Right. It was pretty edgy for its time.
It was.
The animation looks good. I think X-Men got a little wonky because they switched team. Like what happens is when these shows get made, they start shopping around for cheaper studios, or they have like multiple studios doing different episodes at the same time. So you'd watch X-Men and go, Wolverine looks weird in this one.
Yeah.
But they managed to find something that kind of like the He-Man cartoon, where it's like a more modernized version of the old thing. So it's still in the same tone, the same spirit, same color palettes, same everything, line weight, but they're just slightly more, I guess, uniform in how they're done.
They're more uniform. There's a little more detail. Yeah, and they have the shading.
Looks good.
It looks really good, and it still
Looks
has
just like
that's
it's very reminiscent of the show. It's like not that far off.
But it has that Saturday morning cartoon feel. Anthony, what'd you think? This is technically the first introduction of the X-Men team in the MCU.
Was what?
It is.
No.
It is.
Well,
This is in the MCU. We know. Look, it's a cartoon, but What If is technically in the MCU in its own universe.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I think it's you didn't see Marvel Studios. You saw Marvel
animation. That's true.
But we'll see. As far as what did I think of this? I grew up watching X-Men on Fox on Saturday mornings. That said, I don't remember any of the stories. Like nothing.
They did all of them. Days of Future Past.
I'm sure. And I watched them, but as a kid, you weren't. I was like 6, 7, 8. Between 6 and 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't. Storyline wasn't a thing for me. I was just following like the fights and all that. So I don't remember much of like the interactions other than like very high level, like Cyclops and Wolverine not liking each other, and the 3-way love triangle, and Gambit like in Rogue kind of having a thing. So I remember like outlines of the plot.
Yeah.
But I don't remember much. So like me jumping into the show now, it might be an interesting experience. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, it brings back all that nostalgia. It sounds like they got a lot of the original voice cast back, the people that were still alive.
Yeah.
They're picking up a lot of the stories. They're picking up right where they left off. I think they might, I don't know if they'll like do stories from the 90s that they haven't done, or they'll like put some modern stories in there. I think overall, I mean, this show up there with like Batman, what was the Batman animated series and like Justice League.
Yeah.
Like these are some of the most beloved comic book shows from the 90s. So
Yeah, they don't
I'm
make
sure-
them like that anymore.
Did the
No, yeah. So I'm sure this will have. I'm sure this will do really well. And fuck, I might watch an episode or two if you make me watch it. I don't know that I'm going to go out of my way to watch it, but if we're going to probably have to watch it for the show, so I'll watch it.
Did that when you were a kid? Didn't the show make you more tolerant and understandable of people who were different? Did it have that effect?
I don't even remember that.
Oh, you don't remember any of that? Yeah.
All I remember is like just the opening, like and them running at each other. That's all I remember, and there's the fights. That's all.
That brings you back right away.
The maybe like not even sub, like maybe a little part of me was a little more tolerant, but I don't think so. I think it was just I was just there for the fights.
I'd like to think it made that generation more.
It didn't hit me at all.
No, for me it was different strokes, man. That was it.
Well, yes, that was wild.
The world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
What might be right for you may not be right for some.
Yes, you gotta always be aware of the gooch.
I'm not going to do the whole song.
No,
We see Jean Grey looks like she's pregnant. That's interesting. Fucking Gambit riding Wolverine and charging up his claws is probably like the dopest thing I've seen in a fucking cartoon show. They've never done that anywhere before. I don't even think they did that in the special in the comics. They had like a fastball special, right? We know that Colossus throws Wolverine. This is I love this combo move. Holy shit. And then the
was
team.
Morph in the original team?
He was. And I believe he was. And it was just like a dude with like dark hair. So the team now is Cyclops, Beast, Wolverine, Gambit, Bishop, Rogue, Jubilee, Morph, and Storm.
Is Morph the dude with the white face?
I believe so. And I also saw articles saying Morph is going to be non-binary because he's the one who could change it to different things, just like the character on Gen V could just morph into whatever. But that's interesting.
Is he Morph or is he Caliban?
So somebody else said it was Caliban. So I'm confused a little bit.
Because Caliban's an albino mutant.
Yeah.
And that guy looks like
it
a white.
looks more like Caliban, but people.
But there's a dude that has no nose. Is that Morph?
That's what
That's
I don't
Caliban.
know if that's Caliban or Morph. JP
Pretty sure that's
Carliak
Caliban.
playing him. But Caliban.
Screen Rant was saying that it was Caliban.
So in the cast, there's a guy playing Morph. I don't see somebody playing Caliban, the character of Caliban.
Oh, interesting. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
Mr. Sinister is going to be in this. He'll probably be the bad guy. But yeah, they're saying Morph is in this. Nightcrawler also will be making an
maybe it is
appearance.
Morph.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's Morph.
That looks dope, though. It looks great.
Well, this whole thing, too, is Magneto. At the end, it ends with Magneto being the leader of the X-Men.
Yes,
right?
yes. That happened in the
So
comics as well at certain points.
And in this show, they're showing him with the purple, like, M suit.
yes, that's
Which
what
looks stupid as fuck. But that's what he wore as the leader.
Yep. And you see a coffin going down. Like, are they just going to kill Charles in this instead of they're just rewriting the end of the original show? I don't know. Also, the title 97, I feel like it'll take place in like 1997.
Oh, really? What gave it away, Imran?
I'm just saying you can't do it now. You were saying if they're going to do the new stories
I'm saying,
now,
are they going to take the new storylines but just retrofit them to 97?
or will they? Or take storylines from 97 and do them. Oh,
I don't remember. I mean, I don't know what
I don't
stories came out in 97. But it's definitely, it's X-Men 97 for a reason.
yeah. I guess it is. No, but I do want to rewatch some of those. If I have some time, I'm gonna go back and watch it.
I looked it up. There's
It's
like 5 seasons.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. All right, that's March.
I mean, I guess that show also, it dealt with adult themes for a cartoon kids show.
Yeah, it's about homophobia, racism is basically. The other reason I think I read some articles and this kind of makes sense that this may be like how they introduced the X-Men into the live action MCU universe. We just saw Beast at the end of the Marvels. He's wearing blue overcoat. Looks just like the Beast that was in the cartoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Professor X had his yellow wheelchair. That's straight from the cartoon. And every time they mention mutants on Miss Marvel and that other thing, what do we hear? They play that stinger. Could it be that they will pull these characters from the animation universe into live action? And this is your X-Men team we're going to get starting with. I don't know.
So they're going to do the same thing just taking stuff out of TV now?
I mean, yeah. Another, just like Fantastic Four is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of that theory? That could. Why are they playing that stinger?
I have seen that theory that
it all makes sense.
this might lead into Secret Wars as well, and that they're going to pull the X-Men from this universe to come over.
If you do the Secret Wars, it's all the universes, and everyone can.
I mean, that's would be rewarding for the animated series fans. I don't know.
It's kind of crazy.
I don't know how I feel about tying in the animated show like that.
I mean, and what if they have characters like Kahori and Peggy Carter, and they're going to be in live action? There, I feel like they're setting it up for that. So I think Secret Wars, where all of this is going to just get crazy and things will happen. Okay, last little trailer here. So that's coming out March 20th, Disney Plus X-Men. Before that, March 14th, guess what returns? Fucking Invincible Season 2, Part 2.
Oh, shit.
Finally, you tease us with 4 episodes after like 2.5 years and then take a fucking break. They put out a trailer for their Part 2. Anthony, let's start with you. Did you get a look at this?
Yeah, of course.
What'd you think? What is happening? It is also bloody and violent, which is great.
There's a lot happening. I mean, you got to deal with the fact that Invincible's dad is now on I forget what fucking planet that's called.
The bug planet, Omni-Man.
No,
Viltrum.
Viltrum.
They're Viltrumites.
Whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to deal with that. You have to deal with those like pink octopusy things that have infected humans coming in. You got to deal with Sterling K. Brown's character,
the brain dude.
Yeah, then I think it ends with Invincible seemingly being put in the ground. Yeah, man. I mean, the trailer looks good. I don't think there's much to say other than, the show's delivered thus far, and I'm looking forward to watching more episodes.
There are multiple storylines that need to be resolved. There's a lot of threads that need to be kind of unraveled. So let's see what happens.
There's a funeral scene in this trailer. Also, somebody doesn't make it. There's a shot of that dude just ripping limbs off one of the heroes, which is wild. I was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, I can't wait. I think is it just gonna be another 4 episodes? Probably. Can't wait till this returns. You're right. Not much to say. It looks fucking great. I'm just mad they took a break with just 4 episodes. What the fuck? What the fuck you doing? Okay, before we talk about the movie we're going to review this week, the next big movie for everyone, for us, Dune Part 2, coming out March 1st. So really February 29th, just 2 weeks away-ish.
Ooh.
And they had their premiere. Some regular people got to see it in France.
Some regular people.
Just like not critics, just like general audience. But the first reactions to this thing are all just glowing and maybe a little.
They always are, though.
They always are, but like this is like all the critics saying this is a fucking masterpiece, comparing it to like Empire Strikes Back, Lord of the Rings, the best sci-fi movie of this generation, Denis Villeneuve's magnum opus. Holy shit. How are you guys? Who's excited? I'm kind of really excited.
I'm hopefully it's good. It looks good. So I'm hearing it's good. So I'm optimistic for the first time about Dune.
I am. I didn't like the first Dune.
No, I know, and I can see why.
So, why? And the first Dune was nominated for Oscars.
Yes, it was.
So, I'm hoping that this second Dune I connect with a little more, but I am not optimistic.
What if I tell you
given the precedent?
It's going to be like the first one, only all action. That's what I think.
I hope so.
And it's longer. So
I hope I can pick up quicker on who's who, because that was really confusing.
There's a lot of names. No, in the Dune mythos, there's a lot of names. There's Bene Gesserits, there's Harkonnens, there's Atreides. What else you got there, Bruggs?
I'll do a crash course before we watch.
Yeah, and like the first movie kind of does a good job setting it up. Watching the David Lynch thing also helped me, but I really enjoyed the first one. They're saying, I believe, like the box office has been really sluggish at the beginning of this year, January, February. Nothing has been doing good. They're expecting this movie to save the box office. They're projecting a $65 million opening weekend. The first Dune in 2021 opened to $41 million. And I'll tell you why I think it's going to be big. I have already bought my tickets late last week. And unlike Madam Web, where it was wide the fuck open when I bought those tickets, This theater was almost full when I bought the tickets for the Thursday night.
Oh, wow. I got to get on that.
Yeah, so definitely get on the tickets. They went on sale late January, and they're saying pre-sales are matching Oppenheimer pre-sales. So,
oh, nice.
I think this is going to be huge. A lot of people saying this is going to be the Oscar Best Picture of the year.
So I suppose he's supposed to do a part 3 to wrap it up.
Apparently he's doing that. What's that? The Messiah?
Oh, weird.
The third book is the Messiah.
That's right.
But that probably won't be years away. But man, the shots in the trailer of them riding the sandworms, the scale of the shit looks amazing. But what I really want to talk about is, did you see the photos of Zendaya at the premiere of this movie?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the sexiest C-3PO robot
this is not a new outfit.
What is this? An homage to, Ruggs?
Well, it's an archival outfit. So this is from like some other designer that had it. She went and got it. This designer it's got some French ass name. I don't know what his name is, but
Murlog or Murgle, but it's like from the 60s or 70s or something.
Yeah, well, it was modeled after Metropolis. Remember that movie, Metropolis?
Yes, that's what it reminded me of.
So I put a link for Hajime Sorayama.
Yeah.
Which was in the 80s, this airbrush artist who did like all of these things called gynoids.
Yes,
that were really big, really huge influence on like heavy metal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that was big. And so I think that Metropolis chrome outfit came out of that. And we're associating with C-3PO, but I think C-3PO is even based on Metropolis.
On this, absolutely.
So,
I mean, the see-through ass and breastplate, it looks great.
Yeah, someone's worn this before she has.
Okay.
She's not the first person to wear this. I think that she knew about it and she wanted either a double made of it, or she's actually wearing the couture that someone else had.
Mugler robot suit. That's what it is. Mugler.
Yes. Yep.
What'd you think, Anthony? You see this?
No, I didn't see it until you brought this up.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's a wild outfit. This when I first saw it, I went, I don't mind looking at it.
It's kind of cool.
Celebrities are fucking weird.
They're weird, but like
celebrities are fucking weird. They live on another planet.
They wanted to draw attention to Dune, and this is exactly what happened.
This is called fantastic marketing. She's stunning. I mean, she's stunning in this fucking thing. My favorite picture is the one of her standing next to Timothée Chalamet, and he's just wearing like a sweater and a white shirt. He's like completely normal clothes. And there's this fucking robot standing next to him. A very attractive robot.
Listen, you gotta have huge balls to wear that.
Absolutely. So. No, she pulls it up. I was like, this is wild. And it is great. It's great publicity for Dune. Like, this is just genius marketing. Good for them. I mean,
it's as sci-fi as it gets. Yeah. One of the most sci-fi outfits ever made.
I want to know whose idea this was. Apparently, she's in this movie a lot more than in the first one.
And she's barely in that one.
She's barely in. A lot of people are barely in that one. So all those people are going to get a chance to shine. You're going to get Austin Butler, and Christopher Walken, and Florence Pugh. The cast is crazy. I'm looking forward to this. Just a couple of weeks away. So very geek boner. Exciting.
Get your tickets now.
Get your tickets now. The theaters are filling up. I'll tell you this. Okay, with that, let's take a quick break. We're going to play some promo, and we're going to talk about the most amazing, fantastic, hilarious comic book movie ever made of all time. Right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted, and this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? This is Logan at Mostly Superheroes, a podcast that was partly inspired by the Jock and Nerd podcast. We talk about a lot of the same stuff, MCU, DC heavy. with other content that comes out of HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and more. We're committing to doing something new every day in 2021, so come join the fun, check out the schedule. Find us at mostlysuperheroes.com and enjoy the rest of the show.
Jock and Nerd.
And now, with an important message, Christopher Walken.
You gotta join the Patreon. No one will know. It's for you, the people who listen to the show. You gotta do it. You're in grave danger. Trust me. No one will know.
That's right. You heard Christopher Walken, listener. If you enjoy the show,
that was the worst Christopher Walken because I was.
Join us.
I'm not drunk enough to do this.
Join the Patreon.
Join us now.
Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And put in your credit card. It's safe. It's okay. I'll come to your house. Okay, enough of the walk-in. But for reals, you join the Patreon fan club. You give back. You help the show continue coming out every week. And you can enjoy things like a bonus RSS feed where the shows come out early, instant reactions to movies, bonus exclusive content just for our Patreon family. And you can join us in our monthly Discord hangout. Alert, it's this week, everyone. Thursday, February 22nd. Join us.
Speaking of instant reaction, did you get mine up there?
I did. Know. I got them all. We got all three this time. They were all
all three.
They were
perfect.
Great and fun to listen to because this is a wild movie. Lots of other fun stuff over on the Patreon, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, let's get into it. It's webbing time, everyone. Or is it madaming time? I don't know. I don't think it was ever webbing time.
Yeah.
It never even got to webbing time. We're going to be reviewing Madam Web. Dear listener, here are your spoiler alerts.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
Oh boy, this is the fourth film in Sony's Spider-Man universe, of a Spider-Man-less universe, SSU. Of course, Madam Web, based on character in the Spider-Man comic book family, published by Marvel Comics.
Sure.
First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man number 210, back in November of 1980, and created by Denny O'Neil, John Romita Jr., two great comic book creators. How did their creation fare all these years later? Well, this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, 13% currently. Audience reaction, 56%. This is lower than Morbius, which is 15%.
Morbin time.
That when it was Morbin time, it was a 15% tomato meter, 71 audience score. Webbin time, you're looking at 13% tomato meter.
Didn't we take predictions last week? And I think I was right.
I overbid. I know that.
And I said it was going to be under whatever you said.
Yeah, I said like 30s, I thought, and you said it was going to be worse than Morbius. And you, Anthony, were the big winner.
Thank you. Thank you.
This movie, estimated budget of $80 to possibly $100 million. So not like the huge $203 million movies we've been seeing, but still, it's a lot of fucking money for what we saw. And currently at the box office this weekend, the 6-day Valentine's Day to President's Day opening weekend. And at 6 days, it makes $15 million.
Really?
Yes. Over
6 days?
Actually, sorry. That's just the weekend opening. The 6th day is 26 million.
There you go.
Still, it's not great. Only adding another 25 overseas. That's sitting at like $51 million worldwide after 5 days of release. Just think about that. To compare, Morbius, the regular opening, opened for like at $39 million and actually finished
the regular. Yeah.
Finishes with $167 million. I doubt this movie's getting there. Anyways,
that movie didn't make any money.
No.
I don't think that movie made any money either, but yeah, I doubt that this is going to.
This is already so low, and I think they spent closer to $100 million. It's really bad. Let's talk about the talent involved in the Madame Web. This one directed by S.J. Clarkson. Okay. This is her feature film debut. It's the first movie she's directed. She's done tons of television. All right. She's done episodes of Succession, The Defenders, Jessica Jones, Orange is the New Black, stuff like that. Tons of TV. First movie. She helped co-write the screenplay with Claire Parker and the writing team of Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless. No, those names may sound familiar. First of all, there's 4 fucking people writing this movie. It's a red flag.
Yeah.
Anthony, that team of Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless sounds familiar. What else have they wrote? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. This was a screen grab that someone shared with me that I felt like I had to share in the lead up to this movie. But they have written movies such as Dracula Untold.
25% Rotten Tomatoes.
The Last Witch Hunter.
18% Rotten Tomatoes.
Morbius.
15%.
And Gods of Egypt.
Oh, boy. It's a 14%. Okay. We got their pedigree there. Great. Anthony, tell us what happens in this PG-13, 1 hour and 57 minutes, almost 2 hours long, Madam Web movie.
Oh, this movie is set in 2003.
Yeah.
And is about the daughter of a lady who is murdered in the Amazon with her friend while studying spiders. Which is the line. They don't say that line in the movie.
Yeah.
As they were looking for magical spiders or mythic spiders. And this daughter is now living a normal life when she gets into an accident and it awakens some sort of power within her that her mother's expedition led her, pointed her in the, or imbued her with these powers. And she can see the future. And through seeing the future, she comes across 3 young girls, teenage girls that are going to be murdered by a man that was hanging out with her mother before she died while studying spiders in the Amazon. And she decides she's got to stop this man. And this is where we're at. This is the movie.
Yeah, that'll do. Tell me, how many people were in the theater when you saw this?
You know what? I saw it on a Friday night, and I would say don't ever go to a city movie theater on a Friday night because there was probably I would say the theater was probably half full.
Okay.
But it was a lot of high school kids and grade school kids that I think Friday night, I remember being out on Friday nights and I think it was like their night to be out and they were just goofing around the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say it was about half full.
All right. Well,
which was kind of surprising.
Rex, how was your theater?
About 20 people in it, and I was sitting like a few seats down from a kid that was maybe 8 years old and the most annoying, nonstop talking kid with his grandmother. Oh, God. And I shushed him like at least 4 times.
Oh, wow. Man, shush. Holy shit.
I was just like, oh, shit. And then like the 4th time, I was like, this is Madam Web. Why are you shushing? Like, this movie's not even worth shushing.
You're not missing anything. Yeah.
But the kid was just annoying. Like, I was already having a bad enough time watching this movie.
Yeah.
So that just didn't help.
All right. I had about like 15 people in the theater. Saw it on Thursday. Anyways, Anthony, movie ends. No post-credit scene. What was your instant reaction there? What were you feeling? What are you thinking?
Well, one, I mean, I was just extremely bored by the movie. I almost fell asleep a few times. So there's that. But I mean, my initial thought was, I think the movie tried to win Razzies. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, nothing is good. It's bad story, bad editing, bad plot, bad acting, bad lines. I mean, like, I don't know if there's any redeeming quality in the movie. Like, I honestly, when I watched the movie, I was like, well, this is really boring. And then when I thought about it, I was like, did they intentionally try to make a bad movie? Did they intentionally try to one-up Catwoman and Elektra? Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
After watching this movie.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's one of the worst movies you'll ever see.
Oh my God.
And I think they tried to make it like, we can dive into like what you know, the house of cards that Sony's universe is built on, but it's one of the worst movies you'll ever see.
Greg's opening thoughts.
Well, I'm going to go a different route in how I'm going to critique this movie. So I'm sure everyone saw whoever watches Chris Stuckman. He was above critiquing this movie because this is a failure of the studio.
What was his video? Didn't he put out a video about how he doesn't want to talk about the movie? Talking about the movie?
Yeah, he just doesn't want to talk about the director. It's not the director's fault or the actor's fault. This is all studio meddling.
Okay.
And I 100% agree that Sony doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, but I don't think anybody was helping this. I don't think everybody just like checked out of this movie. Like even the director was like, didn't want to direct this movie. Like nobody was doing anything correct. So, and I say this with every comic book movie, but just fucking do what the comics do. All right. You should right out the gate. You got Ezekiel, who's a good guy, as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Moreland should have been the bad guy here.
Yeah.
Because Ezekiel's the one who tells you the story of the spider totems and whatever. Like he could have been the guide that tells Madam Web, okay, look, there's this fucking guy Moreland. They come out, these guys, they come out and they kill any spider people. We got why is Ezekiel worried about? Doesn't make any sense canonically. In this story, it doesn't even make sense. Why do they want to kill him? He sees the future because he's an asshole. Maybe like none of this makes sense. Like this whole like Terminator 2 plot line, like but there's no destiny there.
But it wasn't. They tried to make it Terminator 2 and it wasn't even close.
But like there's a destiny there with John Connor.
Yeah.
He's destined to be the guy who figures out how to stop the like there's no they just kill him for no apparent reason. You don't even know why. That would have been interesting to get. Like anything that was interesting, they just completely avoided. And they just pretty much. There was only one interesting thing in this whole movie,
which was
that her mother went to the Amazon to save her daughter.
That was probably the most acting and emotional part of the movie. Where
that's
she gets
the only redeeming thing they did in this movie that was like at least somewhat.
She was the only one that wasn't an asshole.
A good story point
in the whole movie. Okay.
Everything else was horrible. Like the way you introduced Uncle Ben in there, he sucks. Like every character sucks. They come before Spider-Man. All of these Spider Girls come before. There's a whole. So Spider-Man's not even born yet, and you have just Spider Peruvians. You have Spider Girls. You have all kinds of stuff happening way before Peter Parker was even born. It just makes no sense. It's stupid.
I didn't even go over the cast here real quick before I'm gonna give you my thoughts, but. Of course, we have Dakota Johnson in the lead as Cassandra Webb, Sydney Sweeney as Julia, Isabel Merced as Anya Corzone, Celeste O'Connor as Maddie Franklin. You don't even really get to meet these girls. Tahir Rahim playing Ezekiel Sims, Mike Epps in there as their buddy O'Neill, Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, Adam Scott as Ben Parker. Yes, that's Ben and his sister-in-law, Mary Parker. And then a girl that's in a chair that's looking at computer screens and giving him updates.
It's crazy that Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, yes. And I think so.
She's playing a nerd that's like completely buttoned up.
Yes. So, and I think she was confused I think everyone was confused as to what movie they were signing up for. So when this ended, I was just really fucking confused. It is a what the fuck happened contender. Cause I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? How, like you, Anthony, I was like, how did this even get made? And then the more I thought about it, it's horrible, right? Bad line delivery.
It doesn't work on any level.
Barely any action.
So the story doesn't work.
Yes.
The directing doesn't work.
Yes.
The acting doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like nobody's acting properly. No. Nothing's happening that makes any sense. It's not entertaining. It's boring.
But so
nothing's working.
I will argue this one thing. The more I thought about it, the more hilarious this movie is to me. There is an element of camp because like you, Anthony, I was like, some of these motherfuckers had to be intentionally trying to be this dry and lifeless. This could go on to be a cult camp movie where you sit around drunk, you watch it, you do all the lines as they happen, like a Rocky Horror Picture Show. And if you think about what happens,
like The Room,
yes, it could be. It's fucking hilarious.
I mean, Tahar Rahim's line delivery.
First of all, yes. And every time his head is turned, it's clearly not matching up to his lips. They must have replaced all of his fucking dialogue. Didn't even bother to try to sync it up. Hilarious, right? Come on.
Not only that, but like they ADR him, and I'm not quoting any line. I'm just gonna kind of say what, like, how he's delivering his lines. It's like, I am paying you a lot of money.
Yes.
You have to go and find them, or else I will die in the future. Please kill them. Find them now. I am paying you. Like, and it's like, and he's like walking around like in a circle, like the line delivery. I don't know what happened there. I mean, there's clearly shots of him like either behind his back or like his lips moving and the ADR. Like, what just happened?
I'm sitting there. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening right now? And it was exactly like, what the fuck is happening? This shit don't match up.
Why is he delivering and then why do they have him in a room reading the lines like that?
And
is that his own voice, or is there someone else doing his
I don't
voice?
know if maybe his delivery was bad and you couldn't understand it and they dubbed it over, but it sounds different. Like in the mix, it's clearly like there's no room tone. It sounds different than the voices, the other voices in a scene. So or they just needed to change the story, and this was the fucking clunkiest way they could do it.
Well, apparently the story was like in the 90s at first.
Yes.
And then they were doing this Terminator thing, and then they realized, there was going to be this tie to like one of the Spider-Men, like I think Andrew Garfield, and then they realized, oh fuck, it's in the 90s. This doesn't make any goddamn sense. He's going to be too old if we do it like this. And then they had to like rework the plot or some shit.
It's so stupid that it being set in 2003 adds nothing at all. It doesn't make any sense, but oh my God, I have so many questions.
They should have just taken out the Spider-Man part, the Peter Parker part, in the Uncle Ben stuff.
They cannot say the words Peter Parker, so that's why it's hilarious that they're playing at the baby shower. Let's name the baby, and before she's about to tell him, a balloon pops, and then the baby's born, and they don't name it. But I was like, fucking Peter Parker just got born in this movie. What the fuck? What is happening? That's Peter Parker.
Well, there was also a line where Ben is like something along the lines of, I love being an uncle because you get all the benefits with none of the responsibility.
Yes. And Cassie's like,
and Cassie like Riley smiles because she can see in his fucking future that he's going to die.
But then doesn't that mean she would save him from dying
Right.
and then he wouldn't die? He wouldn't have an Uncle Ben moment? What the fuck is happening? Oh my God.
The fact that they're best friends just like, this makes what is going on.
All of the fun and none of the, oh my God, there's so many bad lines.
I mean, there's. I'll let you ask the question, but this all goes back to the fact that Sony is building a universe around Spider-Man, but cannot use Spider-Man. It's just the most absurd thing ever.
Yeah,
and at least with Venom, even though Venom is like super tied to Spider-Man, so even that I think is like bullshit that it's built that they made those movies. But at least Venom has enough cachet that people know Venom, and they can like. There's people out there that probably don't even know Venom's tied to Spider-Man, right? Because they just like love Venom.
Yeah.
But like you're doing these spin-offs with like anti-hero type shit.
Yeah.
But it's a spin-off. You have to spin off of something.
It doesn't mean that it has to be bad, Anthony. It doesn't mean that it has to be terrible. Like you can do it in a way that's good, but they don't. They choose not to do it.
Oh yeah, no.
They choose to do it in the worst way possible.
I mean,
I'm like, what is the worst way you can write it? That's exactly what they did.
Oh yeah,
they did it in a terrible way.
There's no need for this movie. I see what they were trying to do. Like they're like, let's make a grounded movie with a female lead to get the women. But guess what? Women don't go to see these fucking movies. Nobody knows who Madam Web is to begin with. This movie makes the Marvels a fucking masterpiece.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing. The Marvels comparatively is like Schindler's List.
Oh,
like,
absolutely, it's Oppenheimer.
I mean, this is really what I think. The level of incompetency at Sony is insane because. You've got Venoms, you have Morbius, and then you have this. But it was literally like they went, well, we need a female-led movie with a lot of female superheroes, Spider Women.
And then what do they do?
Who we got? We got Madam Web. She's like old in the comics. Well, let's like age her down, and we can do like this whole web thing where she's tied to Peter, and that's it. And then we can just do that. And they're just like, okay, cool.
And we'll tease costumes in the trailer, but they're never going to get their powers, so we save money in the long run.
Oh, yeah.
See,
I mean, yeah.
Number one, they should never have said it in the past.
No.
That doesn't...
Makes no sense. It could have been in the present.
They should have... They wanted to cast a young woman. That's the problem with Madam Web. So, like, all of this stuff was like done out of whatever they wanted to do and not what the character was. So like the way you would do this is that you'd have this woman who somehow knows these other women that are spider people.
Right.
And then Moreland shows up where Moreland is coming and Ezekiel comes and warns her, listen, there's this guy from these inheritors or whatever. They kill spider people. And I've been hiding from them my whole life. And blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I've been seeing visions. Cool. Like, tell me what to do. And then you're off and running. And, you don't have to have Spider-Man involved at all. Like, you know, that's it. And like, there's nothing. And then you can find out whatever you want to find out from there. Because the fact that there's Moreland and Ezekiel and you don't know who Ezekiel is and what he is, you can open up that whole multiverse. So they just chose because they wanted to cast these young girls. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want to age up Madam Web. They didn't want to do any of that. They just did it this way. They should never have made a Madam Web movie.
No.
They maybe could have made a Julia Carpenter or an Aranya movie or
Black
anybody
Cat.
else. Yeah. But this was terrible. This was just, it was ill-conceived and they did it in the worst way. You could tell that they're making decisions based on whatever they want.
It should have started in the present with a Madam Web, and she introduces these three girls, and they get their powers, and now you have spider people to use.
Well, what the thing is, the problem, like, it's just so ass backwards, right? So, like, one of the draws of the movie from the marketing is the various Spider Women, right? So, like, okay, it's ass backwards that there even are Spider Women before Spider-Man, but fine, let's just play that out. But instead of going for that, they went, no, this is in the past, and everything you're going to see with the Spider Women has not happened yet. It's only a tease.
Yes.
The best action are the premonitions that you're going to get that actually did not happen. Because you know why we know that didn't happen? Because Dakota Johnson, one of her great lines is, the best thing about the future is it didn't happen.
Is it really? Is it really, Dakota? Is that the best thing?
That's the best thing about the
fucking
future.
Great line.
It hasn't happened. It's not that it didn't happen. It hasn't happened. But she delivers it like this.
Yes.
The best thing about the future is it hasn't happened.
So good.
Like what?
See,
so anyways, but yeah, we can go into some of her lines later. But yeah, like, it's just they decided to like make everything bad. I think they wanted to make it bad.
They did this
Ezekiel doesn't wear a spider costume in the comics.
Right.
They put him in a spider costume, so there's a spider person in there that's not Spider-Man, but looks like Spider-Man.
Evil Spider-Man.
Oh, the right in the beginning when he shoots everybody.
Yes.
And then the spider people from Peru jump out.
That's
I literally
hilarious.
audibly went, oh.
Come on. How is that not funny? Spider people just come down from the forest.
That's terrible.
And take her to us.
And the way they animate them, like just jumping everywhere.
Yes.
Like watching Twilight.
Yeah. It was like Twilight, exactly.
And so, yeah, she dies.
It
in
was literally
childbirth.
like they looked at early 2000s bad movies and went, let's
do that. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
And then if you think about that, when there is a Spider-Man, when he makes his costume, is he culturally misappropriating Peruvian culture now? Is he just going to be an asshole and steal their shit and get called out on it?
What motivates him?
No, I don't know. Nothing, probably.
It's just like maniacal power. But like we don't even know if he likes power.
Oh, Ezekiel? Oh, I have lots of questions about Ezekiel. Why did he want that spider? What are his powers exactly? What has he been doing for those 30 years in between? Why is he rich? Where did all this money come from? Where did that costume come from?
Right.
What the fuck, Ezekiel?
How about unanswerable questions? How about this like untouched tribe in Peru? They adopt Cass. What's her name? Cassidy?
Yes, Cassandra Webb. So she's born in this cave in Peru, right?
How does she get home?
Yes. 30 years later, she's in fucking Queens as a paramedic.
They just throw her in an orphanage like Annie.
How did they get her to the U.S. Embassy? How did they get her back to fucking America?
And then, like, later on, she wants to save the kids, right? She saves them. She's like, you guys are in danger. And they're like, what kind of danger? And she's like, that. And she, like, points at the guy fucking crawling on the ceiling.
Ceiling guy?
Yeah, which is the Spider-Man. But, like, she wants to save them, but then she, like, leaves them for a few hours in the forest.
Oh, my God.
While they're in the forest, they go to a diner,
Dance
They decide
on
to start
tables.
dancing on tables at the
I'm like,
diner.
why
This
would
is
they do
hilarious.
that?
How funny is this?
Nobody does that.
That's what I'm
I've been
saying.
wanting that to happen my whole life.
This
It's
is-
never happened.
It's hilarious. It's
They
so
start
funny.
she saves them
They-
again, right?
Yes.
And then she's like, I can't leave you. I see the future. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you with Ben Parker.
And she fucks
And-
off to Peru and he doesn't give a
Well-
fuck about what the girls if they're
Well,
safe.
Not only that, like, at this point, she's a wanted criminal.
Yes.
And she's able to, like, charter a jet to Peru and, like, find where she used to live
Yeah,
based
and
on
no one knows where
pictures.
she's at because the cameras don't work
Yo,
in the
she
airport.
stole a taxi and an ambulance and the cops never fucking found her at all.
But
She's driving it around.
just has the money to, like, jet herself over to Peru.
And like, look, we're supposed to take all of this bullshit.
And then she finds the exact spot where the fucking tribe is somehow from
and
photos.
the guy's just waiting for her.
He's just waiting for. I was waiting for you to come back, and then he like.
They portrayed it as an untouched tribe, but then he's like wearing like flannel.
He's wearing
yeah,
regular
he went to
clothes.
Banana Republic. Yeah, he's like, he went to Hollister and came back.
And then not only that, she's like, she doesn't really want to help the girls because she's like, I'm going to take you back to your parents. I don't want to deal with this. You're a fucking EMT paramedic. Your job is to help people. And she's just an asshole. She's like,
Why does she even hate her mom?
Oh, who, Cassie?
Yeah. That's the whole thing is like, oh,
She didn't
I've
know
hated my mom
because
all this life.
She didn't know that her
She
mom
was dead.
because
She was dead, yeah.
because she's
Your
pregnant.
mom died in childbirth.
Yeah, all you need to know is if you would you hate your mom if your mom gave birth dying for you?
But
what's the reason for why she would hate her?
She was mad because she went to the
She didn't
Amazon
know.
while she was pregnant.
She didn't know. She thought that the reason that she died was because she was not in a hospital in the proper
But not
place.
only did the Peruvian spider people bring her back to America, like she has all the research somehow that was over there. Like who the fuck?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did this come from?
Well, she does say, I hope the spiders were worth it, Mom.
Yes. The thing is, Dakota Johnson is like, that's her line delivery in like almost everything she does. And
She's a Nepo baby.
And I think
that's what
What does that mean?
It means she got her job because of who she's related
Oh,
to.
nepotism. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nepotism. But I think she does that on purpose to make people hate her. And then they unintentionally like, it's like so fucking weird.
I think it's her thing, but it does not work for this movie. And I think you can tell from her interviews, either she's doing the same line delivery or she really just does not give a shit about this movie.
Well, she did.
It shows.
She did say that the script initially was way different than the shooting script when it came to shoot the movie. Changed a lot. She couldn't name any of the Marvel Spider-Man movies. But all of this, I think, is a work. And like, she's trolling everybody.
Stop giving people like credit. Like they're not. No,
No, I don't think it's
she's
fair.
a Nepo baby.
Yes.
She's fine. She's like whatever. She's been in movies. She's now like a celebrity. She could have elevated this a little bit more than it was, and she did not.
Like you could see her act in that scene with her mom, and that's about it. Like the rest of it,
Adam Scott was the only one that was like just like
I would
happy to
agree.
be in a movie.
And
Dakota Johnson, if it wasn't for Tahar Rahim,
yeah,
Dakota
He's so
Johnson
bad.
it would have been an all-time bad performer. Like the only reason is she's not like the main one is because Tahar Rahim also gives an all-time bad performance.
Yeah,
the
because
worst villain.
he was
He gets
so
ADR.
bad that it like overshadows that she wasn't even. She was just phoning it in.
But completely phoning it in.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point she goes, like the lines she has, but like the lines are one thing. The lines are awful. She has shit to work with.
Yeah.
But it's like her such like nonchalant delivery of everything.
But
where it's
the
like, I'm here to save you.
The fact that the director doesn't get any shrapnel for this, like your job as a director is to
Oh,
try
yeah.
and get a usable take.
100%. Yeah, the director needs to be shit on too. I mean,
But like the thing is, it's like you can't be an asshole director anymore, right? Like
no.
James Cameron would have fucking made you say that line 1,000 times and beat you up and whatever until you said it right, slapped you in the face. Until you got the line right, so we can sit there and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
But like now, like they're just like, I guess that's. Are you happy with that, Dakota Johnson? Yeah. Okay, I guess we're moving on. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
even like some of the camera work was very just disjointed.
Well, it's
and
horrible.
confusing, and the editing is really bad. And there are times where you're like, "What the fuck's even going on?" I'm not sure.
Listen, this whole fucking shit show builds so Dakota Johnson could take him to a factory that she knows is going to explode.
Yeah, let's talk about the ending.
And then nothing of that even happens. Like, he doesn't get stuck in the explosion. That he dies because he gets hit with a letter.
He gets killed by a sign.
Well, I'm pretty sure they wanted to. When I was watching that scene, I went, did they look at the ending of Highlander and go, we want to recreate the sword fight, but make it not cool on a roof with a neon sign?
Yeah, if you can't even be as cool as Highlander, you got a problem.
Wait, but just backing up a little bit before that, she hits this dude with a car twice, right? Once with the taxi.
Twice, yes.
But the second time, she's driving the ambulance, and somehow she's like on the third floor in a garage and drives through a billboard. How did she know there was a billboard and where he was? And she just, like, I was like, what the fuck?
She could tell the future.
Where did
Imra.
this ambulance come from? It's just flying out of the second story out of a billboard.
So she hits him with multiple cars, but a letter will hit it, will kill
Yeah,
it.
a sign. It's got neon glass in. That's what I don't know.
I mean, even before that, like, why does Ben Parker even need to take the girls with him to the hospital?
I don't know. Leave him there, man. Peter Parker's being born.
You don't need these random 3 women, but yeah, I mean, just the structure of that last scene or the last battle, it's like we're not going to have action because her powers actually prevent the action. Like,
Yes.
she's literally like, it's literally like, oh, I see. Stop.
Look at this cool
Turn
thing.
left.
Yeah.
Stop. Turn right. Oh, nope. I got it. Duck. And it's just like, and then like the whole like buildup of like what her power really is just like, oh, she gets to like multiply herself.
Yeah, she can send out like a astral.
But then I didn't even
form.
understand in the Peru scene, like, what are the logistics of like her talking to her mother?
Yeah, that I don't know how she interacted with a memory in the past. She's connected to the
like
web.
even if she can go to the past, how can her mother interact with her?
Yeah, and see
She's
her.
dead.
It's something to do with the Master Weaver, which they didn't even get into
No,
at all.
yeah. It's the web of life, Anthony. That's all. It's the web of life. So,
I mean, even like even the like the physics of the powers or what we're seeing on screen. So like when she's seeing these random things happen,
yes,
what is really happening to her in that time? Like, is she frozen? Or her eyes rolling back? Like, what's happening? We have no idea.
Good question.
Like how this is actually playing out for someone that's seeing her in real life. You get no idea.
Yeah, is she
of
having
like
a
how does the
seizure?
logistics of this thing
Well,
work?
in the comic books, Madam Web can see the future and open doors into other timelines, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Spider-Man can pass through them. I don't know how this is it's not used properly here. It's just whatever they need her to do to make the story happen.
Yes,
type thing.
yes. They just
Like
It's
they
completely random.
could have put her powers on rails and gave her some rules to work with.
No, they
like
don't
that
care.
she could see into the future, into a possible future, and she could also travel, maybe project herself or project somebody into that future for whatever, or into a different timeline. Like that would have been useful, but they don't do that. They just made it so I don't know.
It's
She
just
could
a jarring
be
like thing.
yeah. It's not done well at all.
It's like a Final Destination type thing.
Yeah, a little
but
bit.
I don't really know. And then this is great. She can see into the fucking future, right, to save herself.
Yeah.
She can't see into the future to avoid having a fucking firework hit her in the face.
Yes, you didn't
And
see that
blind
shit
her.
coming. You didn't see that shit coming. So look,
She could have avoided all that shit.
that's what I was
She
going to
avoids
get
it all
to.
the time, but then
She could have just turned her head.
yeah, but she can't turn her fucking head.
So first of all, in that whole scene, like a firework busts a hole through a brick wall so they can escape. Does that? Does that happen?
Yeah, that is
I
terrible.
don't know if that
Awful.
happens. She said right. She sends her astral self out to save the girls. Whatever. The sign falls. She's in the water. This shit happens so quickly. She's in the water. You see a firework. The next thing you see, Cassie is blind in the hospital. And I literally was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Why is she blind now? I didn't even see the fucking firework
same.
hit her in the face.
Not only is she blind, I think she's paralyzed.
She's paralyzed in the wheelchair, but she finds out Peter Parker was born, but you can't say Peter Parker. And now she's got cool shades and she could see the web of life. And you get another 10-second shot of these promised costumes that you're never going to see. So it's like a prequel to a movie that you really want, but it's never going to happen.
There's a little bit of a bait and switch because in the trailer you see all these Spider
Supposed to be
Girls.
Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl, and Aranya are the characters from the comics.
Nope.
You don't get them.
Here's the flaw. Like, I mean, there's so many flaws, but like, you have her best friends with Ben Parker.
Yeah. So that means
wouldn't she try to save Ben Parker?
She's gonna see him unless she's like, oh, this is
unless they
fake.
kill her.
Or she's like, this is supposed to happen for this.
But
to
they
happen.
don't even introduce that idea.
No,
Imran.
No.
That there's things that she can't change.
Yeah.
Like if anybody worth their salt is writing a movie about somebody who can see into the future, you would think about a lot of these things a lot more. This smacks of studio. We need to get Spider Girls, Spider costumes. Let's get some, like, look, it works. Like, I was like a little bit excited to see attractive women in Spider-Man costumes and Spider costumes or whatever. Just a bunch of attractive women in a movie together. You know, that's cool. But they didn't do anything with that besides have them dance on a table for no apparent reason. And even that was like so jarringly like, yeah, it wasn't even earned that I was like, no, we don't, this is not, I'm like, what is this, Showgirls? Like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah, at least Showgirls is so bad it's good. These girls all clearly aren't teenagers also. They look way too old for all these parts. But again, unintentional hilarity. Like, how funny is it that he bangs that woman from the NSA and then he's sitting there telling her, oh, I had a dream about 3 Spider Women. They're going to kill me. I'm going to kill them first. Oh, that's hilarious. Who does that? There's so much funny shit in this movie.
I'm pretty sure one of the girls says, you wouldn't like me when I'm hangry.
Oh, she does say that. That's horrible.
Which I'm pretty sure in the early 2000s, no one was saying hangry.
How many times did they have to say, now you're showing off?
Oh, now you're showing off. They said that like 4 times.
Yeah, I think I'm showing off.
Dakota Johnson, Cassandra to Ben Parker goes, where he's like, I love being back in Queens. And he goes, what, you never been shot at in Queens? Which is kind of a dark joke if you think about it.
Oh my God.
And
then, what about the line where she's doing all this research into her mom, what her mom's been doing, and she goes, 1 second, cat.
Yes. How about
as if the cat doesn't have a fucking name.
Well, I want to talk about that. That whole scene, she is giving exposition to a cat, right?
Talking to a cat.
She's just talking to a cat, and she's telling him. And then the whole part where she's like, "Oh, he can climb the walls. Maybe I can climb the wall."
Climbing the wall.
Why? Why do you think you can also climb the walls? And it's funny how they do it. And she slides down. I fucking laughed my
That
ass
was the
off.
only like real laugh that
It was
the movie had.
so ridiculous.
But it makes her stupid.
Yes. Why did you? Why do you think you can climb walls?
There was one where I think she's getting sees the doctor about her visions, right?
Yes.
And the doctor like diagnoses her and goes, "Get some rest. Watch old movies."
And then she starts watching movies.
Have you ever had a doctor tell you
She was
specifically
watching
old movies?
A Christmas.
Watch some porn.
Wasn't she watching a Christmas Carol? I was like, why? It's the middle of summer. Why are you watching a Christmas Carol? What the fuck is going on?
Because it's
here?
old, Imran.
It's like they wrote. It's like, yes, these are all sentences that
yes,
you could put these words together, but there's no human in the world that's going to say these words together.
These things. I love
like when you go back to the original trailer line where it's like
the line's not in the movie.
It's not in the movie, but it's like he was with my mom in the Amazon. Okay, that's all. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Before she died. Okay. While studying spiders.
Oh my God!
It's like you take like 3 different ideas and you throw them. Like that's what this movie is with the line line writing. It's like let's just pick like 35 words from the dictionary and put them together. And let's see what that's.
It is like
what can we come up with this?
It's like ChatGPT wrote some of the fucking dialogue.
I think ChatGPT would do better.
Probably. And then they tweak that line where the tribe guy goes, "When you take on the responsibility, great power will come." And they fucking shoehorn that shit in. Hilarious.
So it will be one of those movies in about 5 years that they're throwing on at midnight.
I'm
People
telling
be throwing
you,
spoons at the
give
fucking
this
thing.
time. This is a hilarious, campy fucking.
Look, it was too boring to be something that you're going to watch over and over again.
And so, yeah,
it was
I
way
did find
too
it very
tedious.
boring.
Yeah,
but I think if you dive into like you like try to figure out the lines that are said, you might be like, oh my God, what happened with these lines?
Because all the dialogue is just the characters telling you what happened, what's going to happen, how they feel about what happened.
Yeah.
And what they're going to do.
You know what? And if you
That's all
do
it
that,
is.
sure, it's bad, but like at least it gives you the story. You could follow the story. And if the story is followable, it's not that bad. But this story is
bad.
Even though they're trying their best to like dump all this exposition of what's happening, it doesn't make anything any better. It doesn't make anything more understandable. It doesn't make anything worth knowing. So you're like, oh, who gives a shit? Like every time you hear something, you're like, what? Mm-hmm. Why did you say that? That's so dumb. No one would say that.
It's not even like a story. It's just like things happening. And the whole time I was like, where is this going? I was like,
how about
the movie doesn't know.
The extremely awkward CPR scene.
Oh my God. Luckily she taught him CPR.
She teaches the three of them and it just like lasts way too long. And it like, maybe this is just my dirty ass mind, but it looks like when they shoot it from the back that they're simulating oral sex.
Oh my God. All the CPR was kind of awkward. Oh, and the guy rolls by and she's like, after an accident, and she's like, check his abdomen. Like, how do you know he's got abdominal just from looking at him from like 6 feet away? He didn't have a vision.
Do you guys remember the Mystique song Scandalous?
No.
Here, I'll put it in our chat.
There's a Prince song called Scandalous.
But this is played in this movie, and I'm going to have a point on this.
Well, they had a lot of 2000 drops.
Well, but this is played in this movie. If you listen to that song, Mystique Scandalous. Go one night. Like it's like one of the scenes where I think they're going to the diner.
Okay.
That same song is in Catwoman.
Oh!
And I immediately was like, why are they doing that?
They're doing this on purpose.
Why are they doing this?
This is all on purpose.
Wasn't Toxic in there
yes,
too?
Britney Spears
Toxic
is when they
also
were
in the
dancing
movie,
on the table.
Yeah. I was just like, what? And I'll link the scene where it's in Catwoman. But I was like,
God.
Oh my God.
See, I think they're doing this on purpose. I think they're doing this on purpose. Also, originally, Sydney Sweeney in an article from 2022 thought she was in an MCU movie. So I think she thought she was going to be an MCU movie.
To Rug Boy's point, I also saw Chris Stuckman's video, and I think he was like this movie made him question the state of everything.
Oh,
so depressed. But I don't think it's just studio. Like, yes, the studio was awful. I think the studio. It's clear Sony doesn't know anything, but I'm just like flabbergasted that the level of incompetence from like the fucking gaffer to like, I think everyone was incompetent. Like no one stood up and was like, wait a minute, what are we doing here?
I think there's a boom mic in one shot. Somebody pointed out.
I mean,
shot. Yeah. But like,
how is this? The only guy that was any good was the guy playing Ben Parker,
Adam Scott from Parks and Rec and stuff.
You cast Adam Scott as he's a funny guy.
Yeah,
and he has nothing funny to do.
You
in
give
this
him
movie.
shit all to do. How did this get made? Like, how did it pass several executives and people and checkers and whatever? And they're all like, "Oh, this is good. Let's do this. It's fine." What?
The only thing I can think of is like they were too far along, and once they realized it was shit, they're like, it's like no one wants to do anything.
I'm going to say this at the risk of being an asshole, but someone has to care about what's happening.
That's clear.
All right. So, like, the director doesn't care about Madam Web and who that character is, or Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse and comic books and all of the material. A producer should care. Maybe the actor who's in it should care. Someone should care about what they're doing so they can at least interject some of that into the movie. There is, because, if you love the character, like if you're a person who's in a movie and you love the character, you're going to fight for that character. You're going to be like, no, I don't think Peter Parker would say this. I think he would do this. And at that moment, you might make a decision that makes that movie better, a little bit better. Or if the director cares about the character, nobody cares about anything that they're doing.
Checked out. They just checked out.
Nobody, the only person that actually, and this is maybe a little, is the person who designed some of the costumes, made it somewhat you can recognize them.
I bet they feel like shit too. They were probably like, "Oh, this is my big break," and then they show it for all of 60 seconds. You're like,
they're barely in it. So I don't know. I just don't. Nobody cared about this movie. Nobody cared. I didn't care watching it. It was laborious. People kept on getting up throughout, leaving and coming back, taking big breaks. I guess I'll refill my popcorn now.
Yeah.
Good thing they got free
No one was
refills.
riveted. Like there's no one like riveted to their seats. Like it was just. I thought about it 40 minutes in. I was like, oh, if I didn't have to watch this the podcast, I would leave.
This is when I would get up right
I didn't stay. As soon as the credits were, I was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to look for a fucking. I didn't care. I was like, you wasted my time enough with this bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I haven't seen a movie where, look, when you have a company like Sony, like bad movies happen for all different reasons, right?
They've also made the best Spider-Man movies. This is what confuses me. How is this
Sony
possible?
made the Spider-Verse movies and
Spider-Man 1, 2.
the Tobey Maguire movie, and yes, they made the one with Jamie Foxx, but still, that's when they started
you still
going
had
downhill.
Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone really acting.
The first one,
well
Amazing,
in those movies.
was good.
Right.
Like there's people that clearly gave a fuck in parts of those movies.
And Sony has made many other movies that had nothing to do with Spider-Man. They're high-quality films. So this studio, I don't know how much it was costs. I heard it was $100 million, so I heard it was $80 million. Whatever it was, it had star power and plenty of big names in it. It had everything going for it. There is no excuse for it to be this bad. There is none. Like it's just corporate. And this is how it's getting more and more corporate as we see these companies are just shitting these things out. And as much as we need it now, we need a Peter Jackson and we need like a Sam Raimi. We need someone who fucking loves this shit and wants to be a part of it. And I know we've said, oh, you don't have to be a fan, but someone has to care.
Right.
Someone has to care about it to do it.
I don't even know, like, I just don't get, like, Sony, they just make, like, they're making these films to make a shared universe, but, like,
is it rights issues that they want to keep these Spider-Man characters alive?
Some of it's rights, but, like, it literally, Rug Boy couldn't have said it better. It literally, no one cared.
It's unnecessary.
Everyone was just checking a box with this film.
It's amazing how fucking I don't understand how this could happen. All right, look, with that, let's rate it, rank it. I want to know, how bad is it? The worst? Is it the worst of these Sony movies?
I would watch Morbius 10 times over this movie.
Catwoman bad? Is it The Room bad? Really, Ruggs? Let's start with you.
Yeah,
you think it's worse than Morbius? This is the bottom.
Morbius was a little bit more on target. He was a fucking vampire. He wanted to be good. He was struggling with this fucking. It was Morbius like. It was like, I would say 65% Morbius.
That's true.
All right. Venom was like 60% Venom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Well, as much as you could do without Spider-Man there. This was like 30% Madam Web.
But isn't it more memorable than Morbius? You're going to remember all this shit, how bad it was.
But I had more fun in the theater with Morbius. It was more, yes, it was more fun.
Okay. What number?
It was still bad.
Yeah.
It was bad, but like, it still was more fun. It was more of a cohesive film than this.
Fuck, yeah.
There wasn't a guy. The bad guy was the bad guy. That made sense.
Well, so at least you had Matt Smith acting all fucking wacky. That was entertaining, right?
He was an evil vampire.
Yeah.
We understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's like that movie makes a lot more sense than this movie. I think this movie is deplorable. It is deplorable.
But give me a number.
It's like a 4.
Okay, Anthony.
Yeah. I mean, the Sony Spider-Man universe is really bad.
Yeah.
Venom had its moments. Let There Be Carnage isn't good. Morbius is not good. But this one takes the cake. I mean, this is. I'm with Ruggs. I think Morbius is a way better film than this. The problem, it's funny talking about like all the bad shit, but like Morbius sucks. Don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of bad movies, but like this is one of the first films where I went, did they intentionally try to make, like, I know they didn't intentionally, but it seems like they intentionally went for Razzies.
Yeah.
Like, and the worst part about it, and I said this in my initial reaction, I'm having a lot of fun talking about it now.
Yeah.
But when I first saw the movie, I went, what sucks about this movie is it's not even like a big swing and a miss. It's just boring.
It's just
like I almost fell asleep during the movie, and like it's so unengaging throughout the entire movie. Like that's the worst thing. Yeah, it's a horrible movie. It's one of the all-time worst superhero movies you'll get. It's probably one of the all-time worst movies ever. I'm more harsh. It's a 1 out of 10. If I could give it a 0,
10.
I would give it a 0.
So up against like a Catwoman, what would you do?
There.
What would you give it?
I mean, I haven't seen Catwoman in a bit, but like when we're talking about like best movies, always the origin is the original is like what should be best, or a lot of times like sometimes people think is best.
Yeah.
When you're talking about worst movies, I mean, this is a movie made 20 years after Catwoman, and they looked at Catwoman and went, "That's the look.
That's a good
we
point.
want."
That's a good point.
I think it's more unforgivable when you make a worse movie now. Like they tried to copy the early 2000s. I don't even know what the reasoning is for this.
Not only did they set it in 2003, they made it like a shitty 2003 superhero movie. Literally, they went literal with it. When it came out, when Daredevil
this was like
came
a
out or
bygone
whatever.
era when you were just like, we have a superhero.
Yeah.
We don't really know what that superhero does, but it doesn't matter because we'll just do what we want with it.
Yeah.
It was just, it's a 1. It's a 1.
I'm going to give it, look, it's a bad movie. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. However, compared to Morbius, yes, Morbius was character accurate. Matt Smith is fun to watch. But it's so dark and serious. I feel like this really, like Catwoman, has a level of camp that after a few years and a bunch of drinks, you could watch this. Like, I could see teenage girls having sleepovers watching this stupid, silly fucking
no
movie.
one will ever watch this again.
I don't know. It could become a cult fucking camp classic.
Only a person that wants to smell their own farts and feel like that they've seen some diamond in the rough, or see past all of, or want to champion like White Knight this
I'm
film.
guaranteed in like 10 years that's going to happen.
Apologists.
People are going to be like, this is not that bad. I mean, look back, a retrospective.
I do think
hilarious.
Morbius is better, but I think this will be a film that, like, because it's so bad, people will like put it up and just be like, what happened here?
It is a movie that makes me want. I can't recommend somebody go see this in the theater, but I do want to tell people, you need, as soon as it hits streaming, you need to watch this to see how bad it is. It's fucking hilariously bad. So I wouldn't say that about Morbius. I'd be like, skip it. But this one, I'm kind of like, you kind of got to watch this to see how fucked up this is, right? It's like,
I had the same comment with my friends because they were like, is it worth watching? And I went, no. But if you want to see how bad movie making can get, this is your film to watch.
It is unbelievable, the things, the decisions, the things that happen. You're just like, what? Am I really seeing this? Oh my God, it's wild. So, but I don't know. At the time, I wasn't entertained, but thinking about it later, I started fucking laughing.
That's the thing. I struggle with the fact that, like, during the movie, there was no point where I was entertained.
Yes.
But, like, when we bring up all this bullshit, I'm entertained talking about all the bullshit.
Yeah. So does that count for anything? Maybe it's intentional camp. I don't know.
Maybe you throw it back on and you're like, wait a minute, it's still fucking boring. And why am I watching this?
I mean, I think Campia said it today too. And I was like, I kind of felt the same way. He was like, I kind of want to just see it again because now I know what I'm getting into, to just laugh at it and look forward to the horrible parts.
We do it because there's a podcast, but if you really like want to stick it to them, you should not be paying for this movie.
No, don't. Oh, and I got some clues about that later in News from the Nation. You may not have to pay for the movie. Anyways, next up for the Sony Spider-Man universe this year, August, Kraven the Hunter's coming out, and maybe
will that be better?
Well, look, maybe the only thing. First of all, it's R-rated, so right there, that may be the only saving grace. I don't know. It might just be, I don't know if it'll be better. Can it be worse? Sure. But again, you're talking about a character who gets bit by a lion and gets lion powers? Is that what's happening? Lion blood? What the fuck?
Maybe they're Peruvian lions.
Are they Peruvian spider people lions?
It's still built on a faulty premise, right?
Yes.
It's because he's a Spider-Man villain. You should have Spider-Man there, but you don't. So you're doing a spin-off of something, but you're not spinning off of anything.
A slightly more recognizable than Madam Web. You got Russell Crowe.
Where does I think he's
and Aaron Taylor
character's
Johnson.
a little bit more recognizable than Madam Web. less I think maybe on par with Morbius.
I think
I don't know.
Craven has less to do with Spider-Man, and then it's actually like Morbius and Craven have nothing to do with Spider-Man, and they could have done their whole Spider-Man lists and not tied to Spider-Man movies. I think it's harder to do the Venom and the Madam Web and the Spider-Girls because they're directly tied to Spider-Man, and like you could just basically put them on a collision course. And then they're in the next movie, they're fighting each other like Kong and Godzilla. They have their own movies and then boom, you put them together.
He can be more standalone. You're absolutely right. His story doesn't really affect or interact until later.
But this one, like, it destroys. There's no way it could be in part of an interconnected Spider-Verse here.
No, any thought of a franchise that they were trying to build here is
over.
Out the fucking window.
If they were smart, they could figure out, they could use Madam Web as the conduit to unify all these things, but they didn't even build that in either.
No, they fucked that up by setting it.
They made some convoluted thing where they all exist at this weird time.
And then even if you did like a present day movie, she's what, like in her 50s now, and how do they don't even get their powers because she changed everything. I don't know.
One of the solutions I saw online, I don't know if it makes the movies any better, but people were just like, Sony just needs to take back Spider-Man. Not that it's going to make it better, but it's like you're playing this song and dance with these movies, and you can't really even use the character. It's like, even if it's bad movies, like they just need to take back Spider-Man.
Like completely cut ties with the MCU.
Right.
Well, a couple of things about that. I read this article that for Spider-Man 4, both parties are not agreeing on the direction
I heard that.
take this movie, right? What is it? The MCU wants a more grounded story.
MCU apparently wants a like
Daredevil.
Spider-Man, Daredevil versus Fisk
that will lead into Secret Wars or something. And Sony wants what?
They want like more multiverse shit.
They want to bring back Toby and Andrew. And I'm like, no, I don't know what I want. That gimmick was great for one time in No Way Home.
Well, Sony saw the dollars that came
Yes.
in. Like, why would we go back to street level?
Yeah, Sony's. I think they're both kind of like. I think they're both not doing the right thing. With Marvel's got kind of a weak Spider-Man, and Sony just has a fucked up universe that they keep ruining. They keep they have no. Like, they could have ironed out the Andrew Garfield thing. They really could have, but they just bailed on it. They just were, I don't understand why they did that. I never will. They made one bad movie. Okay, let's fucking redeem it. Like, you can come back from a bad movie and have a good one.
Now that he's been established, fucking you bring him back and he's your Spider-Man in this universe. I would love to see the story of when he was talking about I couldn't hold back for a while and I was really violent, and then how he changes after coming to the other universe. Like, that's a fucking fascinating story.
You know this is Sony Spider-Man Universe's year because you mentioned Madam Web.
Yeah.
They have Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Venom 3 is out this year, too.
At the end of the year, and I don't even know what the fuck that movie's about. I don't think anybody does. What is that even going to be?
Oh, shit.
They got 3 fucking movies coming out this year.
I laugh, but actually someone said this online, too, and I kind of agree. Sony's obviously losing money, but this also like just hurts Marvel, MCU.
Yes.
Because casual fan is like, oh, that's a horrible MCU film.
They don't
like,
know.
And they don't know.
They don't know. It's gonna.
And if you're some dweeb that tries to explain it to them, they're like, shut up, loser. Like, get away from me. No, I don't care. That's all reads as Marvel.
Clearly,
so
nobody knows this character. They didn't go see it. This is hurting comic book movies until Deadpool. That's going to save everything, and then Sony's going to hurt it again with the other 2.
And now that Disney's absorbed all of Fox's Marvel and all the other Marvel, they think everything's Marvel now.
Yes, it is. I mean, I get it. It's confusing, but it is going to hurt the MCU brand unintentionally.
Like, one of my friends was literally like, Marvel released another shitty movie. I'm like, well, technically yes, but no, it's not. No, it's Sony. Never mind. I can't explain it.
Here's my other anecdote. I was telling people at work. I'm going to go see that Madam Web movie. The first thing everybody said was, "Oh, what's that? Haven't heard of it." Nobody's heard of this. And then when you try to explain, "Oh, yeah, it's like a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much what everybody else is saying." So it's hard to even explain this movie to people.
Well, one of my friends that did see it, who also thought it was awful, but very casual, was like, I kind of like the premise of like a girl that can see into the future and like try to stop things.
Yeah.
Like that seems like a unusual power that we haven't seen, but that's about it. Like that's all they had.
They had a solid idea, which got me interested.
I mean, I wouldn't say a solid, the basis of a potential idea.
Yes. The starting point.
The girl's power set could be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do some news from the nation because not everybody thought it was a complete dumpster fire. There we go. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
That fart didn't match up with your lips, Ruggs. That was weird. Why did that happen?
Yeah, it does that.
It was delayed.
Paid a lot of money to have you fart on this podcast.
You find them. You find them.
You find who farts better.
That girl.
Because I'm going to die in the future, and I can't do that.
There's spider women coming to kill me.
And it's just shots of like the back of my neck and my ear.
That poor girl just sat there and took his abuse. And she's like, they're over here now.
Wait. One more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing.
How did he find them from a vision in his head with masks?
Do you remember throwing on your computer in 2003?
Yeah, it did not look like that. How did she have all that surveillance
She
technology?
had some advanced software. Now, that's another Nepo baby. That's David Mamet's daughter, I think.
Zohia. She was in that show on HBO with Kaylee Cuoco. It was good. She's good.
Who had better technology, her in 2003 or the random Japanese dude in Godzilla vs. Destroyer who could 3D image Destroyer?
Oh, yeah. Enhance. All he had to say was 3D enhance. And I was like, those are
I love that.
Those are
on
4
the 1995
Apple.
Hewlett Packard or
Yeah.
Apple.
They were all Apple products in that movie. Okay, so our buddy Joe Henry has some thoughts. Here's his review. He says, first off, I have this penchant for time travel stories, and I've always liked the character of Madam Web. So after the scathing reviews, I went in with very low expectations, and I'm going to be honest, fellow Jock and Nerd fans, I liked it. Oh, shit. The story wasn't predictable. And
because it didn't make sense.
And overall,
you can't predict things that make no sense.
It was a fun watch.
No, was it? Oh my God, Joe.
The villain was terribly written. There were some bad exposition dumps and plot contrivance or two. However, that didn't detract me from walking away with a positive movie-going experience. One thing I can't help but think was there's some studio interference with this film. To me, it almost feels like Sony didn't believe in the film and cut the villain's real story arc. And some of the exposition dumps almost felt like studio notes to clarify what's going on with the plot during reshoots. Is there a better director's cut we may never see? I think there is. In either case, the film is worth a watch. If you don't catch it in theaters, stream it one day and be pleasantly surprised. There's enough to enjoy. Don't believe all the negative reviews. Look,
I disagree.
Look, I'm kind of with Joe. Is that wait till it's streaming, give it a watch. It's so bad that it's kind of funny.
Yeah, 40 minutes in, I felt punished.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jace?
Joe, I like you, man. I appreciate your support. I really got to question that one. That's a hot take.
He's really campaigning for this movie in the group.
I mean, you just said that the villain sucked. So, like, the main driving force of the movie is no good.
You need a good villain, and they do not have a good villain, and everything falls apart. You just make the
Appreciate
lips.
the feedback.
Okay. Jason Dutch says, not bad, not great, but it was well done for an origin story for a lesser-known character. Certainly seen worse. All the
Pause. What is her origin? So she falls into the water.
Yeah, and it
reignites powers from spiders in the jungle.
Yeah, from 30 years ago, and unlocks for some reason.
Why does falling into the water ignite your powers?
Because she almost died. I don't know.
You know, wouldn't that have ignited if she took a shower?
Yeah, what was happening in the 30 years? Nothing happened until now.
Yeah. She falls in the water in an ambulance and ignites her power.
Well, the real
she dies, then she's reborn as Madam Web.
The real origin is she gets hit in the face with a firework, and now she's blind and paralyzed. There you go, boom, boom, boom. We got her into the chair by the end of the movie. That's what they were.
She has another line. I don't know what it is, but right when she gets out of the water and she talks about like her heart, and she's like, "Oh, I'm fine." Like something. She says a line. I can't figure it out.
She says it at the barbecue too. She's like, "No, when your heart stops, but then it starts, and you're fine."
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Certainly seen worse, he said. It's not the worst. There are worse movies, superhero movies. Would you?
Yeah, there's plenty of bad ones.
Okay,
out
I
there.
know.
I don't know. He says all the actors and actresses were good except Dakota Johnson. His performance was meh. The villain I'd never heard of. Actor was okay, but he wasn't a bad guy people will connect with. Gotta have a good baddie to have a good superhero movie following. He was just a selfish prick. Then he says, quote, the one they called Derek as Uncle Ben was interesting. I think that may be a Parks and Rec reference. And I'm curious how they tie Spider-Man into a world where there's already 3 Spider women and a clan of Peru of spider folks. Kind of waters down the specialness, the spider powers.
You think?
See, you say you liked it, but then you just point out all things you don't like.
Then he finishes, Sony is clearly still clueless on how to build a universe, but not bad as a standalone film. I don't know. Maybe if you're really drunk. I don't
know.
And then we have Rick Martinez, who just said, who directed this horse shit? Brett Ratner? And then he has vomiting emojis. So, bleh.
It's an X-Men 3 callback there.
And then here is Jose Ibarra with a way to save money and enjoy the horrible campiness that is Madam Web. He writes, the full movie leaked online already. I didn't want to waste my money having such low expectations, so I watched it in the comfort of my own home. If you plan on eventually watching it, I highly recommend watching it in theaters, only because watching it at home is a stain that can't be removed. My home is forever tainted. It's so bad that I no longer feel safe in my own home for having watched it here. I want to move. Oh, it's the best review ever, I think, of the movie.
God.
Wow.
So
now your home stinks.
Yeah. Well, should I announce one of our future shows based on this movie?
Oh, we didn't even tell Rugs.
No, we're going to just announce it now.
Let's do it.
So, because of this movie, I have decided to pick 32 Marvel and DC films that are shite, awful. And we are going to do a 32 movie tournament to pick the worst Marvel or DC released movie in theaters of all time.
Yeah. Geek boner.
Oh, wow. That should be fun.
I love it.
It's not who's best. The patch-ups are who's worse.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So some of the... I'll just give a quick... I'm not going to read everything, but
Madam Web is in the tournament for sure.
Madam Web is certainly in the tournament. So is Superman 4.
Yeah.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck. Captain America 1990. Batman and Robin. Blade Trinity.
Oh, my
Mutants, and many more.
There is, and this is just Marvel and DC, which is
Just
amazing.
Marvel,
and
DC.
there's 32, and there's more. But
wow.
I will read them after for the Patreon and for Rugs to react.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I love this idea. Worst comic book movie tournament coming soon, listener. Okay, let's finish with some. What are we watching, Anthony? You watch anything?
I watched UFC 298. That's about it. And then I watched Madam Web.
Oh, how was 298?
298. It was good. A lot of fun. Watched it with some friends. Got drunk. Good times. Ate drunk Subway after.
Of course. They're open 24 hours.
Some of them are, yeah.
Ruggs, you watch anything?
I watched Renfield.
Oh, Nicolas Cage and...
Did you watch that as well?
No, I have not watched it yet. And Nicholas Holt.
I thought you watched it.
No,
yes.
I want to.
I watched a couple movies. One of them was Renfield.
You recommend watching that?
No.
It's not good?
But no, Nicolas Cage is great. Nicolas Cage is great as Dracula. He's hilarious. He's good. But and there's some actually some fun things in here, like Deadpool-y type things.
Okay.
Ridiculous stuff, but I feel like the movie's so heavy-handed about being in a toxic relationship that it ruins the movie. So basically the story is that Renfield is like basically Dracula's slave. He does all the stuff that needs Dracula to keep Dracula alive.
He's also immortal?
He's also immortal. And he starts going to meetings about people in abusive relationships. And that can be a cute thing.
Funny.
And it's a cute thing to do in the subtext, but it's all it's talk about in the movie. And I feel like it's too heavy handed and it ruins the movie.
Okay.
So if they could have just backed off it, but it's fun to a degree and it's kind of, you might like it as I can't say it's a great movie or a good movie. I just think it's a free movie on Amazon. And if you want to watch a Dracula movie with, gore and shit like that, that's what that is, and you can check that out.
Okay. Anything else?
Aquafina's in that one, by the way. Just, did I watch anything else? I did watch a lot of I just watched Chronicles of Riddick, which is also on Amazon Prime.
Just randomly?
I just saw it on Amazon. It's time for fucking Chronicles of Riddick. And I was like, oh, there's a 2000s movie where it's a self-contained movie where it's Vin Diesel plays Riddick, who's like this hunted criminal that like everybody's always trying to, he's got a bounty on his head. Everybody's trying to capture him. And for some reason, he escapes and goes to this planet that's being taken over by necromongers, which are these like alien or this kind of like Darth Vader's stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Like the evil empire, but they're like obsessed with death. And they're half dead type. They get powers from being like ghosts or shit, some shit like that. Death energy. And all of a sudden the main bad guy, there's a prophecy that a Furion, which is what Riddick is supposed to be the only thing that can kill him. And then he tries to like wipe him out, but Riddick escapes and then ends up taking him down at the end of the movie. I haven't
seen that movie in a long time.
Listen, it's not a good movie, but it's a lot better than what I just watched in the theater.
Well, speaking of which, I randomly, because the Marvels is on Disney Plus now, I was like, oh God, let me just throw this on and wipe the fucking taste out of my mouth. That movie is delightful. Compared to this movie, Iman Vellani, family's still fucking great.
The Marvels is like The Godfather compared to Adam Webb.
Much better.
Because at least it was fun in parts.
Yeah.
At least it was entertaining, and the characters kind of remained the characters. Like Kamala Khan was developed, and they didn't have all the problems that Madam Web had, where they just were like, we're just gonna create this universe and nothing makes sense. We're just throwing everything together, and the bad guy doesn't make any sense, and nothing, just nothing works. At least that movie was somewhat more cohesive.
And I know they like a lot of stuff is missing, and there's not a lot of character development, but the runtime is great. It's like an hour 43.
I think
breezy, fun watch to just throw on.
Madam Web is the best thing to happen to the Marvels. Because it now
100%.
elevates it.
It's gonna help a lot. Sony tried to pull off the Marvels.
In the world of like female-led superhero films, Marvels is now not the worst one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least Marvel like can be like, hey, we're not that.
Yeah. Better than that.
I know you guys don't like what we've been doing, but look at what it could be worse. Look at this.
Like, we totally cared more.
Yes. Yeah. We actually didn't phone it in.
Yeah, Ruggs is even saying they cared more, and this is a guy that like regularly lambasts Marvel for not caring.
Yeah. But this level of not caring has never before been seen on the big screen.
Yeah, like I didn't even know like you could care less than Marvel.
That's why you gotta watch Madam Web, because you will not believe the balls on this movie. Like, it's unbelievable. And then the only other thing I watched, True Detective season 4 ended with it's 6 episodes. It's pretty good.
Oh wait, I did watch something else.
What else?
I watched the first 3 episodes of Halo.
Oh, you know what? I haven't started that yet, and I kind of like. I don't know if I want to watch it, but I heard it's better than the first season. How is it?
It's pretty much. It's very similar to the other one. It's like he's, the Master Chief is going through shit because, someone fucked with his brain, and so. Even though he thinks he's doing the right thing, everybody else is now questioning him because now it's like a known thing that he had Cortana in his head.
Oh, right.
And they took it out,
right.
And he was being fucked with. And there was that alien lady that he was fucking.
Oh yeah.
So no one. So he's kind of like he's the only one that's doing the right thing, but everybody's questioning him basically. So
maybe I'll watch it. I'm just like not even interested. I haven't mustered up any interest to watch the second season of Halo. I don't know why.
It's not full of action, but I enjoy it because I like sci-fi.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like Halo enough, but it's still watchable. I think it's still watchable. It's not great, but it's still watchable.
Throw it on. Okay.
I tried to watch The House of Ninjas, but I bailed.
No.
Nah, it seemed like too much like lighthearted.
That's on Netflix?
Yeah.
It's like a family, like a dramedy or something. A ninjas
Yeah. I'm not into that. Okay. I was like, fuck this. I want to see fucking ninjas do ninja stuff. Oh, I saw another movie that's really bad.
Okay.
I watched Tekken.
Oh, based on the video game? There's a movie?
Yeah.
There is.
Well, yeah, that's a 2000s movie. It's like basically like a low budget Street Fighter movie, and it was really bad, but it was still better than Madam Web.
Better than Madam Web? That's what I was going to ask. Holy shit.
It was terrible. It was a terrible movie, but it was still better. Like everything made more sense. Like they made Tekken into like they made it into a completely different story, but in that story it worked to a degree. So
on Rotten Tomatoes, it only has 6 reviews and it's 0%. This movie.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's better than Madam Web.
Better
I'll tell
than
you
Madam
that.
Web. Oh boy.
Like it's not shot better, and it doesn't have as good of a budget or effects or acting, but like, it's almost like dead the same, almost.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay, good stuff. All right, well, that's it for this week, Listener Rugs. Where can the people find you online?
At Rug Boy Show on Twitter.
Twitter/X.
Or X.
Anthony, where can the listener find you this week?
I don't know where they can find me, but I will definitely never be found again on a Friday night watching a
movie theater.
Yeah,
Not with the kiddos. Yeah, come on, you just go.
I've realized now I'm too old for this. I can't do it.
No, you just look at him and go, "Skibbity toilet, shut the fuck up." That's all. You should be like, yeah, to Ohio, you fucks. I'm trying to watch a movie. Skibbity Ohio, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Did I tell you? I actually just the other day I heard a kid passing by say "fucking skibbity." I'd never heard that in real life, and it was like an 8 to 10-year-old kid. I was like, "Oh shit, they do say that."
When you go to the theater, Anthony, just go, "Listen, I need some quiet for the Rizzler," and then you get some quiet for the Rizzler.
Skibbity toilet, you fucks. Okay, that's it. Thanks for listening. Share the show, listener. We would appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the Nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
That's a big fuck up right there.
Thing I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
I love this movie.
Jock and Nerd.